As the world's economic landscape continues to evolve, China is making significant strides in strengthening its trade relations with least developed countries, LDCs. Among those taking a keen interest in this growing partnership is Ibrahim Traore, the leader of Burkina Faso, who sees China's commitment as a potential game changer for developing economies. From infrastructure projects and debt relief to trade expansion and investment opportunities, China's influence is rapidly increasing across Africa and other emerging markets. But what does this mean for the future of these nations? Is this a step toward true economic empowerment, or does it risk creating new dependencies? As China continues to position itself as a global economic powerhouse, we take a closer look at Ibrahim Traore's stance on this expanding partnership, the potential benefits and challenges it brings, and how it could reshape global trade dynamics in the years to come. A new era of economic cooperation. In a rapidly evolving global economy, the role of least developed countries, LDCs, in international trade is becoming increasingly significant. Burkinabe leader Ibrahim Traore has positioned himself as a strong advocate for expanding trade opportunities for these nations, particularly through strategic partnerships with China. Recognizing the challenges LDCs face, such as limited infrastructure, unequal trade agreements, and economic vulnerability, Traore has championed policies that promote equitable trade relations and sustainable development. His vision for economic transformation focuses on fostering fair trade agreements, enhancing infrastructure, and creating long-term growth pathways that empower LDCs. By actively engaging in discussions around China's economic initiatives, Traore has underscored the potential benefits of collaboration, particularly in areas such as technology transfer, industrialization, and investment in key sectors. These efforts align with broader goals of reducing economic disparities and ensuring that LDCs have a stronger voice in global trade negotiations. Through diplomatic engagement and economic advocacy, Traore's leadership is shaping a new era of cooperation, one that seeks to integrate LDCs more effectively into the global marketplace. His commitment to fostering mutually beneficial relationships signals a shift toward a more inclusive and balanced economic landscape. China's expanding trade initiatives, a game changer for LDCs. China has long positioned itself as a key trading partner for developing nations, offering strategic investments, trade agreements, and infrastructure development. Through the ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, China has significantly strengthened its economic ties with least developed countries, LDCs, fostering new trade routes and improving connectivity. This initiative has provided LDCs with much-needed access to global markets, modern infrastructure, and enhanced logistical networks. For nations like Burkina Faso, such partnerships represent an opportunity to bridge economic gaps and integrate into the broader global economy. Ibrahim Traore, the Burkinabe leader, has emerged as a vocal supporter of these initiatives, viewing them as a transformative force for his nation and other underdeveloped countries. He recognizes that China's trade policies, particularly its commitment to reducing tariffs on LDC exports and implementing trade facilitation measures, are critical in boosting exports from African and Asian LDCs. By easing trade restrictions, China has allowed these countries to expand their economic opportunities beyond traditional limitations. For Traore, this signals a major shift in global trade dynamics, one where economic growth is no longer concentrated in developed nations, but is shared among those who need it most. His advocacy for stronger trade ties with China underscores the importance of ensuring that LDCs are not merely passive recipients of foreign aid, but active participants in global commerce. By fostering fairer trade agreements and leveraging international partnerships, Traore envisions a future where LDCs can achieve long-term economic sustainability and self-reliance. As China continues to expand its trade initiatives, leaders like Traore are working to maximize their benefits, ensuring that development efforts translate into lasting economic progress for LDCs worldwide. Ibrahim Traore's vision, economic independence through trade, Ibrahim Traore has consistently emphasized the need for least developed countries, LDCs, to achieve economic independence through trade rather than relying solely on foreign aid. While aid provides short-term stability, he argues that long-term sustainable development must be built on a strong foundation of trade, industry, and self-reliance. His leadership prioritizes empowering local businesses, enhancing agricultural exports, and securing fair trade agreements that foster lasting economic growth for Burkina Faso. A key pillar of Traore's vision is ensuring that Burkina Faso moves beyond raw material exports and develops industrial zones that promote value addition. He believes that manufacturing and processing industries will create jobs, strengthen the economy, and reduce dependency on external markets. China's trade policies align well with this goal as they offer investment in infrastructure, industrialization, and trade facilitation, all crucial elements for Burkina Faso's economic transformation. In his speeches and diplomatic engagements, Traore has positioned China as a strategic ally in developing manufacturing capabilities, improving logistics, and ensuring fairer trade terms. He envisions a future where Burkina Faso and other African nations take greater control over their economies, shifting from being exporters of raw materials to becoming global players in value-added production. By advocating for stronger trade partnerships and sustainable industrial growth, Traore is shaping a new economic path for Burkina Faso, one focused on self-sufficiency, resilience, and global competitiveness. His leadership reflects a broader ambition for an economically empowered Africa. The role of infrastructure in trade development. Infrastructure development is at the heart of Ibrahim Traore's economic strategy, and China's investments in roads, railways, and energy projects in Burkina Faso and other LDCs are pivotal in this regard. A lack of modern infrastructure has historically hindered trade growth in many African nations. Traore has stressed that overcoming this barrier requires strategic investments, particularly in transportation and logistics, to facilitate smoother trade operations. China's infrastructure funding has enabled LDCs to enhance their trade networks and increase their market reach. Traore has consistently pushed for agreements that prioritize the construction of trade-friendly infrastructures, such as modernized ports, efficient border crossings, and digital trade platforms. He understands that without these developments, LDCs will struggle to compete in the global market, regardless of tariff reductions and trade agreements. Beyond transportation, digital infrastructure is also a crucial component of modern trade. Traore has recognized the importance of e-commerce and digital payment systems in increasing trade efficiency. By working with Chinese firms to develop technological solutions tailored for LDCs, he envisions a future where businesses in Burkina Faso and similar nations can participate in global markets without traditional barriers. Strengthening agricultural and industrial sectors. Agriculture remains the backbone of many LDC economies, and Ibrahim Traore has emphasized its role in trade discussions. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has vast agricultural potential but lacks the necessary market access to compete on a global scale. China's commitment to importing more agricultural products from LDCs has been a major point of interest for Traore, who sees this as a way to elevate Burkina Faso's farmers and agribusinesses. Additionally, industrialization is another key area where Traore is advocating for Chinese partnership. By investing in manufacturing and production capabilities, LDCs can move beyond raw material exports and engage in more profitable, value-added trade. His administration is pushing for the establishment of special economic zones that can attract Chinese investment, promote job creation, and increase local economic resilience. To further enhance agricultural trade, Traore has also pushed for better infrastructure for food storage and transportation. In many LDCs, poor storage facilities lead to significant post-harvest losses. By working with China to improve cold chain logistics and storage systems, Burkina Faso can ensure that its agricultural products remain competitive in international markets. Challenges and concerns in China-LDC trade relations. Despite the numerous advantages, Traore is aware of the challenges that come with China's involvement in LDC economies. Concerns over debt dependency, trade imbalances, and economic sovereignty have been raised by analysts. While China's investments provide essential financial support, some critics argue that these projects could lead to excessive reliance on Chinese capital, limiting LDC's ability to make independent economic decisions. Ibrahim Traore has addressed these concerns head-on, advocating for transparent trade agreements that prioritize mutual benefits. He calls for fair negotiation practices where LDCs can voice their interests rather than merely accepting predetermined conditions. His leadership emphasizes the need for diversified trade partnerships to avoid over-reliance on any single economic power. To mitigate potential risks, Traore is also working on strengthening Burkina Faso's domestic industries, ensuring that local businesses benefit from Chinese investments rather than being overshadowed by them. By promoting technology transfer and skill development, he aims to build a workforce that can sustain economic growth long after foreign investments have been made. A global call for inclusive trade policies. Ibrahim Traore is advocating for a significant shift in global trade policies to ensure they are more inclusive of least developed countries, LDCs. Beyond China's engagement, he believes that major economies worldwide should follow suit in reducing trade barriers, increasing market access, and offering technological support to developing nations. Traore argues that the current global trade system disproportionately favors wealthy countries, often leaving LDCs at a disadvantage. His diplomatic efforts focus on urging Europe, North America, and other major trade partners to reconsider policies that limit the growth potential of LDCs. In his vision, trade should be an equitable mechanism that helps all nations grow, not just the wealthiest. He advocates for a restructuring of trade terms that would allow LDCs to compete more fairly in the global marketplace. Traore's call for fairness extends to the need for technological advancements in developing countries, helping them modernize industries, improve infrastructure, and bolster agricultural sectors. This type of support, according to Traore, is vital for fostering sustainable economic growth in the long term. Moreover, Traore has strongly supported regional trade agreements within Africa, particularly the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. He sees intra-African trade as a critical step toward reducing dependence on external markets and establishing a more self-sufficient economic structure within the continent. By boosting trade between African nations, he believes LDCs can strengthen their economies and build resilience against global economic shocks. Through both regional and international trade initiatives, Traore envisions a more balanced and resilient economic future for LDCs, where they are not just participants, but drivers of global commerce. The road ahead, strengthening economic alliances. As China continues to deepen its trade relations with LDCs, Ibrahim Traore remains at the forefront of advocating for equitable partnerships. His leadership underscores a commitment to ensuring that trade agreements translate into real economic benefits for the people of Burkina Faso and other developing nations. Looking ahead, Traore aims to expand Burkina Faso's trade portfolio by diversifying its export base, improving trade policies, and securing new investment opportunities. His vision is not just about enhancing trade with China, but about positioning Burkina Faso as a key player in the global economy. Through his efforts, Ibrahim Traore is not only redefining trade relations for Burkina Faso, but also shaping the broader conversation on the role of LDCs in global commerce. His leadership, alongside China's growing commitment to trade inclusivity, marks a pivotal moment in the economic transformation of the developing world. As these partnerships evolve, the potential for sustainable and equitable growth in LDCs has never been greater. China's growing influence in least developed countries is not just about trade. It's about shaping the future of global economics, diplomacy, and development. Leaders like Ibrahim Traore see both promise and caution in this expanding relationship, raising questions about long-term sustainability, economic sovereignty, and strategic alliances. Will China's investments truly help LDCs break free from economic hardship? Or is this a new form of financial dependence dressed in the promise of development? One thing is clear. The decisions made today will shape the future of international trade for decades to come. What's your take on China's increasing role in developing nations? Is this a win-win scenario, or should these countries be cautious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global trade, politics, and economic power shifts.